Hello Internet, so nice to see you. Today we talk about the German Augmented 6th, and no, I'm not mocking the German accent. I mean, come on, have you heard mine? Anyway, the German Augmented 6th, it's a great chord to use in your chord progression. We already have seen how the Italian Augmented 6th work, and today we see this other one. And again, let me remind you that all those geographical names has nothing to do with anything about the chord, and if we had a better way to call them, we should probably change it, but tradition stuck us with those names. Anyway, in our previous video we have seen how the Italian Augmented 6th is just an altered version of the fourth chord of the key. That is, we take a chord progression like C, F, and G, and if we alter this fourth chord to make the chord progression more interesting, we obtain an Italian sixth. All the details in that video. But another thing that composers do to make those chord progressions more interesting is to not use just the triad, but to use also the seventh of the chord. In this situation, for instance, we could play C, F major 7th, G7, C. This already sounds better than using just the triads, but we can also use one of the other tricks we've seen in the past video, which is to use this F chord in first inversion. That is, we take the third of the chord, the A note, and we put it at the base as the lowest note of this chord. So now we have C, F major 7th with a bass of A, G7, C. Notice the movement of the bass. Now, what happens if we chromatically alter this chord to make it minor? Well, the first thing we need to do is to change the third of the chord, so the A becomes an A flat, because F A C is an F major, F A flat C is an F minor. But the other thing we need to do is we also need to change the seventh of the chord. Why? Because if we don't change it, then we have an F, A flat, C, E, which is an F minor major 7th, which, well, you may like it or not, but there is a very strong dissonance between this A flat and this natural E. So if I play this altering only the A to an A flat and leaving the E as it is, it sounds this way. Hey, this is not terrible at all. I confess I actually like it. But in this video I'm explaining to you the German Augmented 6th, and this is not what composers in the past called the German Augmented 6th. So let's do it this way. This is a possible option. But what have composers in the past done? They have altered also the E to an E flat, and in this case it sounds this way. And so far, so good. You decide which option you like best. But we've seen last time that something interesting happens if we do those alterations and we also alter the F to be an F sharp. So now we have a chord composed by the notes A flat, C, E flat, and F sharp. And it sounds this way. I can change the voice leading a little bit between the first and the fourth chord so that the chord progression ends up this way. Now, this German Augmented 6th is enharmonic to an A flat 7 chord. The A flat 7 chord will have A flat, C, E flat, like this, but it will have a G flat as the 7th, while here we have an F sharp, and that's why this chord is called Augmented 6th and not Dominant 7th. More explanation in the previous video. The only difference with the Italian Augmented 6th is that in the Italian Augmented 6th, we only have the root, the third, and the Augmented 6th. Here we also have the 5th. Not only that, but if you look at the voice leading of the resolution of this chord, you see that those two notes, A flat and E flat, both resolve down by step to a G and a D. This is a parallel fifth, which is supposed to be forbidden in classical music, and yet in this specific resolution it is perfectly permitted. If you check in the repertoire, you'll find that composers from the Baroque era to today have resolved the German sixth with this parallel fifth down without any problem, because this parallel fifth is masked by this strange resolution of the augmented sixth out to an octave. That is, the A flat goes down to a G and then F sharp goes up to a G. This seems to hide any kind of problem that the parallel fifth create. Not only that, but I already made a video on parallel fifth showing that they are not really forbidden in the sense that you think they are. Now here comes an interesting thing. Sometimes in classical music we don't just play a 1-4-5 chord progression as it is. Sometimes these 5 chords get embellished by playing before it a first chord in second inversion. What do I mean? Rather than playing C, F, G, C, we actually play C, F, C with a bass of G, then C. This C with a bass of G acts like a temporary suspension just before the fifth chord, and this sounds great. If now we apply all the trickery we've seen before to create a German augmented sixth, we have C, F major 7th with a bass of A, the German augmented sixth, the C with a bass of G, the G7, and the C. It sounds great, and there is no problem, but there is a little technical snag. You see, this German augmented sixth has an E flat, and this E flat seems to resolve up to the E note in the C with a bass of G. Now, personally, I'm not really bothered by that. The German augmented sixth is already an altered chord, and sure, this doesn't really follow the rules of counterpoint, but this little thing seems to have bothered many theoreticians. So, if after the German augmented sixth you have the first chord in second inversion, many theoreticians will spell this chord in a slightly different way. They will spell it as A flat, C, D sharp, F sharp, because the D sharp, following the rules of counterpoint, will resolve up to E, while E flat is supposed to resolve down to D. As such, this is not anymore a German augmented sixth, but it's something different because it's spelled differently. So, I've heard this called by the name Dutch augmented sixth or Swiss augmented sixth, or with this horrific name. Double augmented fourth augmented sixth. The double augmented fourth is this interval between A flat and D sharp. A to D is a perfect fourth. A to D sharp or A flat to D is an augmented fourth. A flat to D sharp is a double augmented fourth, which is an harmonic to a perfect fifth, but it resolves out to a perfect sixth, exactly like it's doing here. Now, if you dismiss the last couple of minutes as just a technical note, yeah, I'm not blaming you. I just wanted to tell you that if you hear the name Dutch augmented sixth or Swiss augmented sixth or double augmented fourth augmented sixth, well, you know that it's just a strange resolution for the German sixth, okay? And I would agree with you, this is probably just splitting the hair in 4. But hey, the sound of this augmented sixth chord, however you want to call it, resolving to the first chord in second inversion, sounds great to me. So, at least we have this option. As usual, in a 10-minute YouTube video, I cannot be complete. I cannot say everything there is to say. There is much, much, much more to know, even just about the German Augmented 6th. If you want to know more about all that, and especially how to apply it to your guitar fretboard to create your chord progression and play them with your guitar, then check out my course, Complete Chord Mastery. This is not a book, it's a complete video course made by guitar players for guitar players that teaches you the practical side of harmony. We do all our theory on the fretboard. I don't want to make a long speech. If you're interested, check out Complete Chord Mastery on the link on the top right. If you like this video, smash on that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click on notification, otherwise YouTube will not let you know when I put up a new video. And if you have any comment, feedback, suggestions, well then write them down in the comment. I enjoy reading from you, and I make videos with your suggestion exactly like this one. This is Tommaso Zilio of musictheoryforguitar.com, and until next time, enjoy!